Hello, everyone. Hello, ex-Walk Hill Bethelite here, and let's talk a little bit about preventative measures. This is something that we use in society to prevent negative things from occurring. One example is with the coach, the old Celtics coach, Udoka, I think is how you pronounce his name. He decided he wanted to have a relationship with someone at work, and that person decided, well, she likes him also, and she wants to have a relationship with Udoka. Not illegal at all, but we don't like when a person is having a relationship. Two people have a relationship, and one person, their job is better than the other if they work for the same company. We don't really like that. It's not necessarily illegal, not necessarily anything uh, bad per se, but we just assume then there would be favoritism, at work. So we want to prevent favoritism, or we want to prevent someone dating a person thinking that they'd get something out of it. Things that aren't illegal, we don't like them, so we want to prevent them. And Udoka ends up getting fired. Not only did he get fired, ESPN and people were talking about it for seemingly weeks, and he didn't do nothing illegal. All he did was date someone who wanted to date him too, but she just worked at the same place. Of course, she didn't have a job as high as the head coach. He couldn't have dated anybody that worked for the Boston Celtics then, because nobody had a job higher than the head coach but the owner, and I don't think he wanted to date the owner. So, regardless of how ridiculous it is, for you to not be able to date anybody in an entire organization, they still took steps to prevent it from happening by essentially making it a fireable offense to date someone at work if you have got a high position at that same job. They're trying to prevent it. It ain't illegal, but they're trying to prevent it. The same is true with Deshaun Watson. Now, the past that situation was NBA. This is the NFL. Deshaun Watson, who is now the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, he was tried by two courts, two courts, and neither jury for either court could find anything illegal. He didn't do nothing illegal. He may have been a jerk. If 30 people are saying he's inappropriate or he's a jerk, he may be inappropriate and he may be a jerk, but he didn't do nothing illegal. And we as a society, we don't like it if someone is being a jerk or they're being inappropriate. Well, he ends up, by he I mean Deshaun Watson, the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, ends up being fined like $5 million for being a jerk, and ends up being suspended for like 12 games for being a jerk and inappropriate. Now, I don't like when people are inappropriate myself. I've been at a dinner table at Bethel, and there was somebody who was eating ice cream, and they were letting it run down their face, and they belched seemingly not 10 inches from my food. They belched not 10 inches from my food. I don't like it. I don't like when people are inappropriate. That, in my opinion, was extremely inappropriate. Ain't nobody gonna fine him $5 million for belching near my food, although they probably should. But the concept, we get the idea, is that we want to prevent things even if it's not illegal, and we take steps to do so. So the NFL fined to set precedents, fined Deshaun Watson $5 million and suspended him 12 games for not doing anything illegal. So if we as a society want to prevent things from happening that we they may not be illegal, but we just don't like them, we should definitely be trying to prevent things that actually are illegal, right? Two different scenarios where two different places of employment took steps to prevent things way before it gets to the point of even being illegal. Well, with policing, now this help me make sense of this. If we will take extreme measures to prevent things from happening before it even gets to the point of being illegal, we have a problem in America with police murdering people, beating people, deciding that they're just going to screw with people, and that is being a jerk. I haven't seen a cop be fined $5 million and, told he can't come to work for 12 months for being a jerk, but pulling people over that hadn't done nothing wrong and didn't just decide, let me just hold you here and find something wrong to charge you. That's being a jerk. But the problem that I'm having is we don't do anything to prevent that. The police departments, what are they doing to prevent the things that we don't like, let alone things that are illegal, right? If you so much as just not like that a cop pulled you over so that he could go find something wrong, because I've been pulled over for not necessarily doing anything illegal. The whole stop ended with me not even getting a ticket, meaning there was never an illegal reason for them to pull me over to begin with. If you just don't show in your face that you don't enjoy being interrogated by police and whatnot, well, they may say, well, that's suspicious that you're not enjoying my presence. I think you're hiding something. You must have crack cocaine in your drawers. Like the stuff that we allow versus the stuff that we try to prevent. People dating someone who is a president of a company. You can't date nobody in the company. We want to prevent that. Deshaun Watson being a jerk to a lot of women, we want to prevent that. Police murdering people, we don't do nothing to prevent any of the things that happen leading up to that. Them grabbing you at the car, slamming you on the ground, well, that could escalate. There's nothing to prevent that. I mean, it's the ridiculousness of society. We have a cult. The cult is called Jehovah's Witnesses, and they've got, just like any other religion, freedom of religion. But just like how it doesn't make sense, the things that we prevent compared to the things that we do not prevent. We won't necessarily do anything to prevent police from murdering people. We'll prevent people from dating certain individuals, and we'll prevent people from being jerks that play football. But now you have this cult. This cult is able to use their freedom of religion to destroy families by having an official teaching that if you do something they don't like or you just don't agree with them, they will use a term called disfellowshipping, which means everybody in that religion, don't matter if they're related to you, don't matter if they've been friends with you for 10 years, have to stop talking to you. They destroy families. They destroy lives. They destroy families to the point where I'm talking mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters. They don't even talk anymore. They haven't talked in decades because of what this cult has done. We allow it. We allow it in society. Now, in society, we won't let a person who is the president of a company date someone in that same company because, oh my goodness, he may influence them. They may have influenced him. Who knows, right? So we won't let them date. But in religion, we will allow a cult to use their influence to destroy lives, destroy families. Does it make sense? And why is it as a society that we have such mismatched standards? Why are the standards so mismatched? It's blatant. We allow Jehovah's Witnesses to use their influence to destroy people's lives and break up families. And that's okay as a society. They've got the freedom to do that because they're American. This person over here, all they want to do is date the person that they're in love with, who just so happens to spend the most time with them. That's how they met, because they work at the same place. But because he's got a really good high job title, the two can't date each other. The pure ridiculousness of you're going to not allow people to date because you're worried about undue influence of this person's position. But then this cult, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they've got influence, and we don't care what they do with their influence. They can do anything they want with their influence. A person who has a title in the Jehovah's Witness cult is allowed to date whoever else in the cult. A GB member is allowed to date inside that same organization, even though they have a high title, and that's the only reason these younger women sometimes end up marrying these older, way overweight governing body members. Is because of their title and their position. It's okay for them to date whoever they want in that organization, regardless of their title. Udoka, who is a coach, he can't date. Why do we have standards for one group of people and we don't have them for the other group of people? We want to prevent people from being jerks, but we don't want to prevent cops from murdering people. Make it make sense. You have had cults like Heaven's Gate that ended up having people commit suicide. We've had Jonestown where people ended up committing suicide. We have had all kinds of other cults where crazy things that have happened and people end up getting hurt. Do we do anything as a society to even attempt to stop it? No. We want to stop Udoka from dating people, but we don't want to stop these cults from becoming Heaven's Gate, from becoming Jonestown. We don't do anything to prevent what we know is a problem, such as cults that they gain so much power and control over people that people will do whatever they tell them. So once people start doing things, and those things are insane, like if they need a transfusion to survive or they'll die, the cult tells them you can't have the medical procedure, so you're going to die. And the person says, okay, I'll do what they say. And we don't do anything about that. A mother carries a person in their stomach, births the person, raises them for 18 years, and then this cult, Jehovah's Witnesses, decides to tell her, well, your son doesn't want to be a member of our cult. We're going to disfellowship him because he's saying that he doesn't agree with our teachings. So you can't talk to him anymore. Or if you do, you got to have a watch and make sure you only talk to him for 5 minutes at a time. And they say, okay, once cults start doing obvious things that show they have way too much power and authority and they're using it in negative ways, do we do anything to stop it? No. Explain this to me. Russia is at war with Ukraine. Ukraine is right next to Russia, right? Ukraine is right next to Russia. Now, we in America, we can't for the life of us figure out why Russia will go to war with somebody who is right next to their border. If there is an issue and Russia feels threatened, or whatever the issue is, Ukraine feels threatened, They're right next to each other. So to us, that makes no sense that the two might go to war. We bombed Libya in America. We bombed a country off in Africa. We make pretend in America that we would not go to war if a country was doing something that we thought was threatening and it was right next to our border. We don't think we would do the same thing Russia's doing, even though we do the same thing Russia's doing to countries that are freaking nowhere near us. Libya was nowhere near us, but we needed to go and kill Gaddafi or Gaddafi. But Russia, for the life of us, we can't figure out why they're having a conflict, and this conflict is right next to their border when we can't stay out of conflicts clear across the other side of the globe. Make it make sense as to why we're reporting on this as if this shouldn't happen. But when we get into conflicts with people who are nowhere near us, we act like if Mexico was to do something that we thought was threatening, that we just wouldn't do anything about it. That is the biggest baloney that exists. Why are we so, in society, blatantly, obviously mismatch with our views? Russia can't go to war with somebody that is literally next door to them, but we can go to war with people all over the planet, and it's okay. Bomb them and they ain't even a threat to us. Libya was not a threat to America at all. In 20 years, they wouldn't have been a threat to America, and we bombed them anyway. Ukraine is right next to Russia. They thought something was going on. Whatever was going on, Ukraine is right next to Russia, and we can't figure out why they're going to war. It's blatant, obvious hypocrisy. It's obvious hypocrisy where an athlete like Kyrie Irving can't watch a documentary and then post the name of the documentary he watched. The man lost. He couldn't go to work. He couldn't go to work because he watched a documentary and then posted the documentary that he watched. He couldn't go to work. But police can slam people all over creation. And they can go to work. You know, as long as they don't murder somebody on camera. They can go to work. They can go beat people up as long as they hide the camera. I've seen a cop hold a gun and they hold it to where it blocks the cameras here, and they hold it to where it blocks the camera. Well, we can't see anything. So blatant hypocrisy. Kyrie can't watch a documentary. We got a problem with him watching a documentary. Cops can just beat and murder and harass and do whatever they want. And as long as they don't literally murder someone on camera, pretty much like they did with Tyree, we pretty much let it go. We're not even going to try to prevent it even. We're not even going to try to prevent it. But we will try to prevent Kyrie from watching certain documentaries that we don't like. How in America did we ever get so hypocritical, so blatantly hypocritical? My freedom of speech, I can't threaten anybody, even if I don't follow through with it. I ain't going to do anything, but I can't threaten anybody. I can't say certain things to cops without getting pulled out the car and beat. There's certain things I can't do with my freedom of speech, such as cause a disturbance. That's like illegal. You can't cause a disturbance of peace. I can't, with my freedom of speech, I can't disturb the peace of other people. A cult, however, like Jehovah's Witnesses, can use their freedom of religion to destroy the peace of an entire family, and it's okay. Why are we so freaking hypocritical? Comment down below. Let me know what you think. 937-789-4029. After Tyree was killed, the president, I think, spoke out about it. And I think probably one of the reasons is he wanted to prevent riots. They want to do what they could do to prevent riots. They ain't going to prevent the cops from murdering people. They ain't going to do nothing to prevent the murders, but we don't want Burger King to get burned down. Comment down below. Let me know what you think as to why are we so hypocritical. 937-789-4029. We'll discuss it. I've got X-Wall Kill Beth Light signing out.